Hi Leo, welcome to your October 2019 Astrology 33 reading. Thank you to those of you who've liked, viewed, shared, subscribed, and donated to the channel. I appreciate all of that. And just to let you guys know, I actually will be starting personal readings again in October. So for those of you who are watching this when I first post it, it'll still be a couple weeks away. But yeah, as soon as October rolls around, you guys can email me if you'd like to get a personal reading. And you can check out any additional information you want about that in the description of the video. Alright, so with that out of the way, we'll get focused on your main spread. It's a Celtic cross spread as always. You got a couple extra cards that came up there. And then we also have a couple of oracle cards to look at and a mudra card. So let's get started. In the main situation position, we have the Nine of Swords. So this could just be saying that you're, feeling anxious about something. Maybe you're having some difficulty sleeping as well. But yeah, for the most part, I'm feeling that this is more of an anxiety situation for you guys. And, can be around a few different things. For one, this is a card of Gemini. So maybe there's some anxiety around a friendship of yours, since that represents your house of friendships, your, social groups. And also, if we think about this as just a natural third house, for you guys, your third house is Libra. And, there's going to be a lot of energy in Libra most of October. And maybe as those planets are moving through there, due to the fact that they'll be making some tense aspects with Saturn and Pluto, might feel like a heavier third house transit than normal for you guys this year. That could be what's at play there. So you might even feel restricted in communication in some way too. Maybe like you have a lot to say, but you're not quite sure how to say it, basically. That could be how it's playing out for some of you. But yeah, definitely picking up on an anxiety vibe there. And then in the challenge or obstacle position, we have Four of Pentacles, and we have the Ace of Wands. So actually, there's quite a few different scenarios that come to my mind with these two cards. Well, first, this is Capricorn energy, the last 10 degrees of Capricorn. And then this is just, your standard wand energy, but this does usually represent at least the idea to have a new start in some area of life. So if we factor in the fact that for you guys, Capricorn is your sixth house, this can just be saying that, maybe you're looking to have a new start in your career. But maybe the difficulty there is, you might be trying to figure out how best to go about it. As far as, you might be trying to say to yourself, all right, well, if I'm going to leave this job and start another one, I might want to start saving up my money for a bit in order for me to be able to make that move, right? Another way this could be playing out for some of you as well is I actually picked up on a vibe that since Capricorn, being your sixth house could also relate to health and, daily routines. Some of you could be trying to quit smoking too. That's what came to my mind with the Ace of Wands that I saw there. And it can be one of those things where, you factor in that we just had a bunch of transits moving through the natural sixth house of Virgo. And like I said, this points to your sixth house of Capricorn. That could be the connection there where, maybe you've been looking at how much money you're spending on whatever this habit may be. Smoking was the first one that came to mind because I could see some of the symbolism in that picture. But could just be any habit that you came to realize, okay, I'm spending too much money on this habit. I really need to kick it, right? And maybe that's the difficulty, actually going about and doing it could be the difficulty. So using the smoking example, one of my friends was trying to quit recently, and they were saying, for the first week and a half or so, it was like hell, they're very moody, irritable. So, that could even be what's going on there too. Could be disrupting your sleep habits if you're trying to get rid of such a habit like that. And another way that this played out for some of me as well when I was looking at these two cards is this could actually even be a certain situation where maybe you're in a situation with a person you're in a romantic relationship with, and they might be very closed off with you and maybe even withholding sex. So, we'll see if we get around why that would be the case as we go through the spread, but that's actually something that's coming out to me pretty strong as well. So, maybe you guys are in a fight right now, I don't know, but that's what I was picking up on there. In the foundation position, we have the Ten of Swords. So this is more Gemini energy, actually, or third house, like we said. So For one, if we want to look at this in a more positive way, if you are already stuck in that Nine of Swords energy, this can just be saying that that will be coming to an end soon. And I could see some energies that may point to that. And we'll get to those a little bit later. But another way this can be, another message that could be coming through with this as well is to be saying that, you may just be delaying the inevitable in some way. So if this is something that you deep down know you need to do, whatever it may be, like I said, if it is switching jobs or getting rid of a bad health habit, or maybe just a spending habit in general that you're realizing, okay, I really need to figure out a way to start saving my money, right? This can just be saying that it's pretty much an inevitable transition that would need to take place in whatever area that is. So can just be saying that, the encouragement there might be to try to take control of it as best as you can rather than to have it feel, feeling like it was exerted on you, basically. But yeah, once again, this could also be like harsh communications as well. Maybe through withholding the communication, right? Maybe there was some kind of a harsh argument you might have had with someone that led to being in this current state right now, but that's what I'm seeing there. All right, in the past position, we have the Four of Wands. So this is a card that points to the last 10 degrees of Aries, and definitely is a pretty positive energy in general. It's about expansion, growth. As you can see, it's a celebratory atmosphere if we just look at the artwork, right? So this can just be saying that maybe this was you in a romantic relationship in the past, or just feeling stability in general. Since Aries is your ninth house, this could even say that maybe in the past some of you might have achieved something as far as maybe you got an advanced degree of some kind in school, or maybe just got some kind of a certification in your job. Plenty of different ways that could go. Maybe even did some international travel, but that's what I'm picking up on with all that. In the present position, we have the Temperance card. So this is definitely a really good card to get with regards to these energies we have here, the 9 and the 10 of Swords, because this does represent some balance taking place, and this might just even be telling you to trust, just have faith, basically, if we look at the artwork there, right, that things will balance themselves out. This is actually a major arcana card for Sagittarius as well. So for one, that's your natural fifth house. We do have Jupiter moving through there, and that's one way you can look at it as well, which is to say, you guys are the natural rulers of the fifth house, so to have Jupiter moving through your fifth house, that's a pretty supportive energy. And maybe you guys might have just felt a little bit stifled as it was retrograde. It finally started to move direct in the middle of August and still picking up steam, but you might not have felt the benefits as much through the month of September just because it was still squaring Neptune in your eighth house too. So that could have been it as well. For some of you, speaking of the eighth house, this could even point to maybe your spouse might have lost their job, for example. So maybe that's where the difficulty was coming in, where you realized, okay, well, now I'm the only one earning income right now, so we have to figure out how we're going to pay these bills, right? That could be another way it's playing out. And then, of course, that could lead to tension sometimes with that kind of dynamic as well. So maybe that's what was going on there. Might have caused some strain in the connection. If that's how it's playing out for you guys. But as a whole, this being basically it's going to be in your fifth house for I believe another month and a half or so. I think in November or maybe December is when it moves into Capricorn. But now, like I said, it's pretty much done with those tense aspects that was going on, and you should start to feel more the beneficial side of that energy as we move through October and November. And then also after that, it will be in your sixth house as well. So this is definitely a good time to let go of any bad habits you might have, because as much as we view Jupiter as a sign of rather a planet that points to luck, it's also just expansion in general. So any bad habits you have now, once it goes into your sixth house, especially since you still have Saturn and Pluto there, it could actually just exacerbate those issues. So that could be what's going on there. All right, in the near future position, we have the King of Cups. This is actually a court card for Scorpio. So on the simplest, the simplest way to translate this could just be pointing to the fact that as we move toward the end of October, we're going to be moving into the time of Scorpio. And not to mention, pretty early on in the month, too, Mercury and Venus will be going into Scorpio. So this can just represent the shift of those energies. And maybe that could have you getting more in touch with your emotional side as well, as those planets do start to arrive in Scorpio. But generally speaking, when you do have transits through Scorpio, whatever your Leo placement is, whether it's your sun, your moon, your rising sign, maybe a combination, maybe your Venus Mercury, for example, they'll make a square aspect, which could be an aspect of tension. So that could also be where this might be coming from as well. For others of you, it might be a Scorpio that you're dealing with as well. Trying to remember if there was a Leo vibe in their reading. I can't remember for sure. I think there was recently. I just don't remember if it was in the October video because I did theirs yesterday. But if you are dealing with a Scorpio, that's probably a indicator to check out their video as well for additional insight. But yeah, so this can just represent you also. Like I said, just being more in touch with your emotions, but still a bit closed off in a way because it still is fixed energy. And this can just be centered around communication as well because I'm looking at the King of Cups is looking directly at that Eight of Wands in reverse. So we'll see how that plays out in a little bit when we get to it, but not getting too much else from that card in particular yet. All right, from the position of your influence on the situation, we have the Two of Pentacles. So yet more Capricorn energy. And of course, this gives you that image of juggling, right? Trying to decide between two options. So, like I said, for some of you, this could definitely be around you maybe wanting to switch jobs and you're trying to figure out how best to go about that, right? Do you need to save up your money before you switch jobs, or do you just figure out a budget plan? If you feel like you can't wait that long, right? You feel like, all right, I really need to get out of this job sooner rather than later. So how would I be able to manage the budget, right? And maybe that's where you're starting to look at maybe some bad spending habits that you have and trying to figure out how to rein those in. And like I said, for some of you where this is related to maybe a spouse or, just someone that you're in a close connection with, maybe they're going through difficulties financially. Now you're trying to, balance your finances to take care of your share and their share of the bills and everything. That could be how it's playing out as well. Trying to think if anything else comes to mind there. Nothing in particular, but that's really what I'm feeling there, the need to make a decision and, maybe to figure out how best to use your resources, especially if you do feel like they're limited in some way right now. In the position of the environment, we have the Eight of Wands in reverse. So to me, this could represent that there could be a feeling of stagnation. Now, a lot of times this does point to communication, but a lot of times this points to just taking action as well. So you might just feel like things slowed up on you. Like I said, it can be because usually having planets move through your third house, that would be supportive transits for you. But like I said, this year, they are going to make those tense aspects with Pluto, with the South Node, with Saturn. So maybe you could feel like that's, a bit stifling in that regard, but they all, again, point back to your sixth house, too. So this can be, let's say, maybe you're not getting as many offers. Like, let's say you already did put your resume out there, right, to switch jobs, and maybe that's where you feel like things are moving a bit slow. Like, you're not getting as many callbacks as you thought you would have. Trying to think if anything else comes to mind with that, but that's really what I'm feeling there. You just might feel like there could be a lack of communication in general. For some of you, like I said, this can be, again, related to a romantic relationship situation. Now, naturally, if that's what it is, like I said, if they're even withholding sex from you, I picked up on that vibe for some of you. Obviously, this can be because maybe they feel that you're juggling, right, between you, them, and another person. Or maybe even because you're just so fixated on what's going on with your finances, for example, you might feel, they might feel like you've really withdrawn in the connection, and they might, that might get their mind going if you're not communicating with them as far as what's going on. They might be making assumptions for the worst too, because I actually don't see any real indicators that you are doing anything wrong necessarily, but It could just be through that lack of communication, they might start to feel a certain way, then they shut off, and then, you could see how it could just snowball from there, right? Um, the bottom of the deck, actually, speaking of which, we do have the Page of Swords. So this does usually represent actually coming forward and making some communication, but it does have that 1 foot in, 1 foot out energy. The person's holding the sword, but they don't look too confident with it, right? That's because they haven't gotten even to the knight level yet, let alone queen or king. So it could just be some, discomfort, maybe not feeling too confident in what you have to say. So this can definitely point to if there was a falling out with someone and they're withholding communication with you. You might want to, ask them what's going on, but maybe you're a little reluctant to do so. Or again, this could be what's causing the problem as well. Like I said, if there's something you need to tell them as far as what you're going through, but you're not really speaking up, then, we could see how that could add to the problem. In the hopes or fears position, we have the Knight of Cups. So this could be playing out a few different ways, but I do feel it's hopes, definitely. And so for one, like I said, for some of you where you do need to reconcile, like I said, even if you haven't done anything wrong, but just from you withdrawing, being so stuck in your head about, maybe trying to rearrange your finances, again, maybe they made some assumptions about what was going on. This could just be you trying to, hoping to get in there and make up with them. This also, to me, is a court card that points to Pisces, which again is 8th house energy. So, like I said, if it's others' money, like I said, maybe your finances are fine, but maybe the person you're with, even if it's not a romantic relationship, could be roommates, right? Since Gemini is your 11th house. And maybe they're not pulling their weight. Maybe you're just hoping to see a turnaround there, a positive turnaround there. That could be what's playing out with that energy as well. All right. In the outcome position, we have the 10 of Wands. So this could be playing out a couple of different ways too. One way could be more of a cautionary thing, saying that if you're feeling burdened right now, try to find some way to relieve yourself of that burden. This could also just be saying that maybe you're too heavily focused on something, pushing yourself too far too fast, and maybe losing sight of the goal, right? Because, if you look at this person, yeah, they're carrying those 10 wands, but can they even see where they're going? It doesn't look like they could from this artwork, at least, So it's like, okay, you might be taking on all these things, but don't lose sight of what the goal is in the process, So maybe that's what's going on there. And it can be due to the Uranus transit in your 10th house as well. Maybe that has you feeling like you need to make some kind of moves and some big shakeups in that area of your life. But, you guys would know if that resonates with you or not. All right, so moving on to the oracle cards. First, we have Here and Now. There's the artwork for it, and the number is 32. So actually, let me not glance over this. So we see over there it says past, future, and then I don't know if you guys could see it there, but in the flag it says you are here. So could definitely be like you guys feel like you're in some kind of a crossroads energy. Like I said, maybe trying to leave one job and start another. That could definitely point to that Two of Pentacles energy we see there, but we'll see what the messages for the cards say. All right, it says, being fully present in the moment, living one day at a time. The Oracle's message, everything happens in the now, in the present. Only this moment counts. You have what it takes to handle anything today if you let go of the need to look into the future or reflect on the past. Be present and notice what is going on right now. This very moment has the potential for you to create miracles in your life. So, if nothing else, that definitely seems to point to that 9 of Swords energy, and possibly the 10 of Wands too, where, you might be trying to take on too much at once, like I said. All right. The relationship message says, it's easy to yearn for a love affair or friendship you may not have right now, one that is more romantic, more fun, more reliable, more passionate. The good old days are gone, and a new day has dawned. Let your heart trust that you have everything you need right now, whether you have the relationship you desire or not. Tomorrow is beyond your reach. Yesterday cannot return. The now is all that is available to you. Stay present and aware that in this moment, as you cherish and approve of your beautiful self, you are a magnet for love. Spirit is madly in love with you right now. Did you know that? Turn to Spirit to feel the joy of love in the here and now. So hopefully that resonates with you guys as far as, if there is some kind of a struggle that you guys are going through in your relationship. Like I said, I almost picked up on this vibe of someone could even be withholding sex for some reason. And maybe that's it, maybe the stresses of other areas of your life just have you going through a bit of a bumpy road, but, can just be saying that things can stabilize for you guys and just try to stay in the present. All right. Prosperity message says, what you are working on is golden, and your efforts will leave a powerful legacy. Focus not on meeting a goal in the far-off future, but on creating your dream now, releasing your desire for an outcome, and owning that it already exists. It will appear in the material world, as if by magic. Claim your prosperity now. The essence is more important than the form. When you are immersed in prosperous thoughts, you automatically tune into a sense of timelessness and unlimited potential. You can act as if, in spite of the temporary outer conditions, you are prosperous at this moment. What you think now becomes your reality. Stay present. So, hopefully that resonates with you guys as well. Like I said, definitely seems to just be pointing back to that Nine of Swords energy that we talked about and how that could, end up making things a bit more difficult. I know it's easier said than done to shed that energy, but it does seem like there are some supportive energies around that could help that take place for you guys. All right, and then next we have White Raven Spirit. It says, trust in the magic. There's the artwork, and the number for this one is 66. All right, let's see what this says. It says, nothing in the universe is random, for the intricate web of co-creation weaves together all events and has done so since the beginning of time. Coincidences have meaning, and White Raven Spirit appears to remind you to pay attention to these synchronicities so that you might recognize patterns. Even the winds dance in a pattern, participating in the magic of Spirit's plan for all. Align with the highest good and intentions, and you will come to see that White Raven is guiding you, an ally to you and a messenger from Spirit. Align with the light, and you will start to recognize that all is working together harmoniously in ways the eyes can't always see and the mind can't always comprehend. The universe is conspiring on your behalf right now, drawing you to the light and bringing you the magic and miracles that are your birthright. Now is the time to trust in the magic of the world that is everywhere and in all things. Pay attention to how things come together as if by magic, and you will see the hand of Great Spirit arranging things in your favor. So hopefully that resonated with you there. Like I said, it could just be if there are some kind of stresses and you really are taking on a lot. Maybe you might have lost that. And like I said, with the Temperance card in the present position, to me, more than anything, that can just be saying to have some faith that balance will be restored. So hopefully that's how it plays out for you guys. And like I said, the Jupiter transit moving through your fifth house might not have seemed to have been as big of a shift for you with it moving direct again, just because it was still making weird aspects with Neptune, but those are pretty much over with now. It's going to keep moving forward through the rest of Sagittarius, and we won't really feel that square as much. All right, and lastly, we have a mudra card for you guys. So this is the mudra here. It's Karana mudra, and the keyword for it is purification. Let's turn the card around so you guys can see the info on it. All right, and if you guys want to pause it or take a screenshot, you can. And then I can't fit everything in the frame here, so I'm going to move it up so you can see the rest. Yeah, it says cleansing and purifying, benefits the bladder, colon, and large intestine, detoxifies body and mind, assists with the release of negative patterns and habits. So it's an interesting description there, because for those of you who are trying to get rid of some kind of a habit, like I said, maybe for those of you who are trying to quit smoking, or maybe just some unhealthy habits in general, sounds like this might actually help with that. And as far as, release of negative patterns and habits too. So this definitely sounds like it kind of resonates with that whole thing. So I will put the name of that in the description of the video as always, in case you guys wanted to look into that some more. But we'll wrap up there, and I'll see you all next month. All right, bye.